It's been 1 month since I signed up for my first full Ironman, so let's go over the month, recap it, and see how it went. The first discipline that I had the most activities in was running. I had 18 runs, totaling a distance of 82 miles, or just a little bit over that. And the reason I had so many runs during this last month is because at the time of signing up, I was currently training for a marathon. So a lot of these runs were for marathon training, not necessarily for Ironman training. And it also does include my marathon as well. What ended up happening was I ran my marathon, I took one day off, and then I thought I was good to get back into it. I went for a run. It was just a short run the morning of 2 days after the marathon, and then I was fine. My legs were a little bit tired, but other than that, I was fine. I went for another little run later in the day, and I was fine again. My legs were a little bit tired once again. And then the next day, I went for another run. It was more of my normal runs that I used to go on, and pretty much right when I started, my foot started hurting. I decided to run through it, got through the run, and then after that, it just hurt to walk on my foot. I didn't really know what was wrong with my foot, but that's basically what happened. I'll get into that a little bit later, but basically what happened, and I later eventually found out that I did have a stress fracture in my foot. But basically once my foot started hurting, I stopped running, and I basically gave everything up until I got back home because I wasn't currently at home, so I didn't have my bike or I didn't have a place to swim. And then my next most practiced discipline was biking. I got 10 rides in, totaling a distance of 321 miles. I didn't end up biking until a little bit after my marathon, just because when I signed up, I was so close to the marathon, I didn't want to start biking, tire my legs out with these different muscles that I'm using in it, and I didn't really want to take that risk. So I didn't train biking until I actually did the marathon, and then after the marathon I went away for a week, and then I came back, and then I started to get back into biking. To date, my longest ride so far is 100 kilometers, or about 63 miles. I did that with a group. It actually went pretty well. We had a couple stops in between. So what I normally do whenever I'm out biking, I don't like to stop. I just like to go, especially with running or swimming. I try not to stop as much as possible and just try and go. So with that 100-kilometer ride, it wasn't as bad as I was anticipating. And my next longest ride before doing the 100-kilometer was less than half of what I did. So that's why I was a little bit nervous going into it. I've actually been really enjoying biking, probably a lot more than I actually anticipated. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is cars driving really close to you on the road. And then also I'm finding that my ass hurts a lot after longer rides, even shorter rides. I find it does hurt a lot. So I'm just trying to log as many miles as possible, get used to that feeling, and just try and get used to biking, build up that endurance, especially because right now, since I can't run, I can swim and bike. So I'm just trying to do as much as possible until I can get back into running. I haven't seen too much progress here. I started out around 17, 18 miles per hour on average, and I'm up around 19 to 20 depending on the amount of effort that I do put in. I have gotten up to an average of 21 on a ride, but that was putting in quite a bit of effort. So I'm going to work on building that up, getting more power into my pedals. Is it called pedals? I don't really know. Pedals? Strides? It's not strides. I don't know. Try to get more power in there and build up more speed for biking. But as of where I'm at right now, I feel like I could do probably between 18 and 20 miles per hour for maybe 3-4 hours. I haven't gone that long other than my 100K. So once I do get out there and do say a 4+ hour ride, we'll see how that actually goes. I also just bought a smart trainer, so I'm really excited to start to use that, especially because it's just a lot easier to do that where you don't have to go out on the road, have to get ready and all that stuff. It's just going to be right over there, going to go and bike. So I'm really excited to try that out. Last one is swimming. I have 7 pool swims and 1 open water swim. I probably need to get a lot more open water swims, but I have close to a year until the actual Ironman, so I have a lot of time before I do need to get that. But my total distance, I'm not really sure how long the pool actually is. I've been going by 25 yards. I'm going to probably ask them next time I go in there to see exactly how long the length is, but I've been going by 25 yards, and my total distance there is just over 13,000 yards total. And then when I did my open water swim, I did that for about 1 mile. Actually, it wasn't about 1 mile. It was 1.01 miles, so just over 1 mile. For the open water swim, I was really surprised with my pace because it didn't feel like I was going that much slower than what I do in the pool. But what I think could have happened as to why it's so much slower is because when I'm in the pool, I'm going back and forth and I'm kicking off the wall, so I'm getting a lot of speed off those push-offs, whereas in the open water, I'm not really doing that. So I think that could have slowed down my pace quite a bit, and that's a reason why I did see that drop off. But it's definitely one area that I do need to improve on. I have adult swimming lessons that I have signed up for, so we'll see if that's able to help my efficiency and learning how to swim, becoming a better swimmer with the technique and all that stuff. So that's basically what I've been going on right now, and I've been seeing quite a bit of improvements here. My first swim was a struggle just to get to 25 minutes, and now I'm fairly easily, I wouldn't say easily, I'm pretty tired, and I take a couple second breaks in between each lap, but I'm at 45 minutes consistently now, and I've seen a good improvement over time, where my first swim, I think I was around 3 minutes per 100 yards if I do have the correct distance in the pool. And now I've seen low 2 minutes per 100 yards. So that's a minute off my time. Still a lot of room for improvement, because I've been seeing other people that are, I think, between 1 minute and 2 minutes. And that's probably going to be the range that I need to get in if I do want to succeed and do well in the swim. So a lot of room for improvement there. But this was my one event that I knew I was probably going to be the weakest in, and that I had the most improvement in. So that's a recap on the 3 disciplines that I've been working towards so far. Just a little bit of the general stuff that I've been doing. Other than the week after my marathon, I've been trying to do at least one of them a day, and sometimes I'll do 2. Like today, I actually did 2 bike rides, but they were shorter. They weren't anything like 3 and 3. It was, I think, just over 1 hour for each of them. So I'm trying to get at least one of them in each day, and then on weekends I get a little bit more time. So right now I'm doing sometimes a swim in the morning, and then I'll do a bike. So I'm trying to get a couple of them in, but once I'm able to start running again, I'll probably throw in running, and probably on weekends I might do each one each day. I watched some Lionel Sanders videos, and it was Follow Me for 48 hours, and I watched it and I was like, geez, this guy trains every single event, every single day. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be I'm not going to say that I'm going to be at his level, but if I'm going to be competing in a field of that type of caliber, I need to start training more. So that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to increase the amount that I am actually training. Moving on to the stress fracture in my foot, this is the first time I've actually ever had this happen to me. I didn't really know exactly what happened when it actually happened, because it was weird, because I ran my marathon. The next day, I took a day off. The next day, I ran. Nothing was wrong. Like, my legs were just a little bit tired. Nothing to do with my foot or anything. And then just randomly, right when I started running, it just started hurting. So I was a little bit confused, because it was I wouldn't say so far away from the marathon, but it was a couple days away from it, and I had run other days before in between, and I didn't feel anything wrong there. So I was a little bit confused. But basically, once I found that out, I was like, oh, this sucks. And then I just stopped running, because I didn't want to injure it even more, because after my first half marathon, I ended up, I think it was my IT band, and I tried to push through it, and basically what I needed was time to just rest and not push myself. So that's basically what I decided to do, is rest up, just let it heal. And I was hoping it would be healed after like a week or 2, and it wasn't. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to go and get x-rays and see if there's anything in there that they can see, if there's a stress fracture or whatever it might be, hairline fracture. And they ended up finding the stress fracture in the foot. And basically what the doctor told me was, don't run and don't jump on it. Try not to put as much weight on it, and just try and give it some rest time. And she said it takes about 4 to 5 weeks to heal. So I think it's been about 3 weeks. I'm seeing small progress towards it healing. When she told me to start walking normally and not on my toes, like I was saying earlier, that when I'm walking on my toes, it doesn't hurt. And she said, walk normally. It started hurting, I wouldn't say a little bit more or a lot more, but it hurts a little bit more. It doesn't honestly really hurt. It's just a discomfort, I guess you could say. Like on a pain scale from 1 to 10, where my right foot's at a 1, I would say this is at like a 2 or a 3, and I'm just limping around to try not put weight on it. Like there's not much pain there, but there's a discomfort that something's there and it's not right. So hopefully that it's able to heal and I'm able to get back into running, because I have a marathon coming up in about a month that I would really like to run in, and depending on the health of my foot, I'm just going to take it easy. I plan on running this no matter what. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully my foot's able to heal up a little bit and we're able to get into it. But what she did say was that I was still able to bike and I was still able to swim. And luckily for that, because that's keeping me sane and keeping me going, and I'm able to do that. I don't know, because when I asked her if I could bike, I don't know if she was just thinking like regular mountain biking or whatever, like just casual strolls, not like on a tri bike. So I don't know if she didn't understand that's the type of biking that I was going to be doing. But either way, I'm doing it, and I don't notice too much of a discomfort when I am biking, so I'm going to continue doing that. I have another x-ray she gave me to get at the end of the month to see if there is still any issues going on with it and if I'm able to go back into it and back into running. So hopefully this heals up soon and I'm able to get back into running, start training again, and we'll see how that goes. So that's been my first month training for my marathon. It's been a good month. I've been really enjoying it. Honestly, not swims. Yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, biking, I really do love. And once I get back into running, I'm going to enjoy that as well. But swimming is definitely something that I wouldn't say I enjoy that much, and something that I do need to improve a lot on. But we're still out here. We're still grinding. We're going to be pushing ourselves to train as much as possible because I do want to do really well. Honestly, I think anyone could do an Ironman. It just takes a little bit of discipline, a little bit of training, and I think you can get there. I think I could personally finish an Ironman right now, and that's not really my goal. I think I could probably finish it within, say, 24 hours, which is a long-ass time. It's like, who the fuck wants to do an Ironman in 24 hours? So I actually want to try and do well there. It's just going to take that time, that discipline, and put in all that time and effort into training and making sure that I'm proper nutrition and proper diet. And that's actually one thing that I did want to touch on is my diet. So I added carbs back in because I was doing low carb, and whenever I was running and burned, say, 2,000 plus calories, I would have to eat a lot of protein, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So that's why I added carbs back in. But what I've been finding is with the carbs being back in, I'm finding I'm having crashes during the day and I'm a lot more tired and lethargic. So I'm not sure if it's because of the carbs, but maybe I could do that for another video. If you'd be interested in that, I could cover my diet and just go over my takeaways from doing low carb versus now with carbs back into it. It's a fairly standard diet. I'm just trying to make sure that I hit my protein, my body weight in protein. So that's been my month training for an Ironman. I think I went a little bit more than what I expected to do, but here's to more months training harder. And if you want to stick around, be sure to subscribe.